Hello, my name is George Epolito. I'm the current course director of postgraduate architecture at Leeds School of Architecture at Leeds Becker University. And today I'm going to try to answer the question that I was given. What are the opportunities of establishing first a student community, contextualized curriculum, external networks for the BA architecture at the new campus for the position of senior lecturer for the BA, the Dubai campus of De Montfort University. And also, so you know, I was the senior lecturer in architecture and urban design for 3 years at DMU prior to coming to Leeds. And I served as the Master of Architecture program leader and deputy head of postgraduate studies. So, to be honest, I was doing the research, and to answer the first question, what are the opportunities of establishing a student community? I think that depends on what your target student market is. Are we only talking about from the UAE or other Middle Eastern countries? Are we thinking of further afield, including the UK and or non-Muslim countries? I do think there are cultural and obviously legal differences and customs that would have to be taken into consideration. And it depends on the kind of relationship, if any, there will be with the students of the same program in Leicester. I previously also acted as a professor in residence and academic director for Clemson University's, an American university, their study abroad program in Genoa, Italy. It's similar in the sense I had to have communication back with the main university, and I had to adhere to the similar curriculum. Obviously, a couple of courses were a bit different because it was more about in situ learning. The difference was that it was about taking the students from the American campus and having them experience what they called the fluid campus. There are other campuses in various parts of South Carolina and in Europe. This could be an opportunity. Can the Dubai campus be seen also as a means for the Leicester School of Architecture students from Leicester to come and study for maybe a semester or two, or maybe a summer short course or field trips, and vice versa? How do you contextualize the curriculum? Well, my research and the way in which it informs my teachings is based on students understanding and respecting the local culture, history, climate in which they are operating. To me, this is fundamental in making the curriculum at Dubai special, unique, but at the same time, it needs to be situated globally, which I do always feel that was the ethos of DMU. So external networks. Well, this depends on what scale we're talking about of external network. Are we talking local? I don't have any connections. Are we talking regional? I have connections in Izmir, Turkey, which I'll show. And if we're talking global, international, I have connections in the UK, Italy, the US, and Argentina. I have former students who's basically has a pretty important position at the university in Izmir. It's taught in English, but it is a Turkish institution. I went there to do a workshop in 2013. Just the other day, I did a collaboration in Italy online with a former colleague who I'll show you in a second from Italy, who I've done many workshops, including one with DMU students. And a new colleague who I met through my years at DMU in Argentina. So some of the international workshops I've conducted in the past have been with Alessandra Cuomo, and this was the last one I did, again, with the Leicester School of Architecture, where I also brought BA3 students which is taught by a former student of mine who's still at Leicester. And then I've gone to do workshops in the United States, again in Salerno on many occasions. I've done collaborations with Alessandra We also had museum exhibits in Naples. And my first really venture into kind of intercollaborations of workshops was with my former colleagues in Clemson and Genoa and the University of Genoa when I was in Manchester. To give you an idea, I'm still in good contact with many people at DMU. Adriana Masida came to speak to us this year as part of our open lecture series, and this was one of the advantages of the online platforms, that we were able to open this up to get international speakers. She was also speaking with Martin Mota from Buenos Aires and Florencia Amanzi. Again, just some images. Adriana sort of set the context for the bigger part of the lecture, which was Martin and Florencia. And also I put my student project this year in Buenos Aires, and Rodrigo, who I spoke of in the first slide. We just did this thing in Italy, but prior he has been my consultant, my external critic online on 3 occasions this year for my students. I also took advantage of online learning by contacting former colleagues in the United States. Kate Wingert is the associate professor and director of the Tyler School of Art and Architecture at Temple University in Philadelphia. And she came to speak to one of my classes. It was also a collaboration with Portsmouth and a BA unit here. I've also had my colleagues here and in other former colleague Nick Dunn, who's now in Lancashire, speak also in some of my classes. I hope to use this kind of blended learning as I continue forward. We had a lot of negativity this year about everything being online, but there were some positive moments, and it opened up. I realized I could tap into my international network of friends and colleagues or former colleagues. If you're interested, these are my research interests. It informs my teaching. And here are some of the publications. Since I become the director of 4 courses, I have to say my research has not been what it used to be at this point. I also write about pedagogy, about how we teach. And I just wanted to end it with some of the student work by one of my students, one of my favorite projects that was a result of this collaboration, this workshop of urban erosion that we last did in Naples. I actually have many questions. I'm not sure if I've actually provided you what you were looking for in this presentation, but I'm sure it's just to start a conversation. What I miss about DMU since I left is this global ethos. One of the biggest disappointments in coming to this new position was that it is incredibly disorganized when it comes to having kind of a vision outside of Leeds or outside of Yorkshire, which I was a bit surprised with Leeds being a bigger city than Leicester. And that's really one of the things I want to go back to. I have a global perspective. I've been in this country for 15 years now. In terms of working with UK academic institutions, so I know policies. I created the degree apprenticeship level 7 here, so I work with ARB and REBA. And I left DMU on good terms. I'm still very good friends. I brought Alona Martinez Perez here as our external examiner in urban design. I've also brought Geraldine Denning to do one of our open lectures last year. So I'm in good stead with the people I left. There were some really good people. Maybe I made the wrong move in coming to Leeds, but I hope to speak to you on Wednesday morning here.